she's one of the first female dance baris. Usually the baris performed by male. So in that time, my grandfather Kako taught her to dance baris. So her name is Nyamandawan. This one of the old pictures that we have. So in the bottom is my mom. So as you see the pictures taken by 1954. So in the back, Pekat Kakul, but I'm not sure. I forgot the names in the middle. So who's that? I think I figure I have to ask Katuk Wirtawan. So I think he's mentioned about this name, about her name. This up towards 1970s, 71. So my dad rebuilt the gumbo. Usually the gumbo this be performed by high caste. So since 1971, I believe, I think I saw the pictures at the years underneath. So that I assume this 1971, we had some karya like Ordalan in Purodalam. So my dad asking like Kak Kakul and also his brother, Kak Kakul's younger brothers, to join to make a gumbo. This is from the gumbo, earliest gumbo performance in Batuan. This is my mom doing the rajang. It's like one of the sacred rajang performance, like ritual that we have every years in Batuan. They call sutri. So this is my mom's dancing. Yeah, this is the Pekat Kakul young's brother teaching putri, like a female style dance, teaching gumbo. This is again my mom, you can skip, and my brother in the back. There's early, like things, I don't know exactly what years. This is my dad's doing paintings in the courtyard, in the back's my mom. I think this is special for tourists, for the purpose of taking pictures. That usually we work, he work on the ballets, not inside, but it's not outside like this, just for picture taken. Yeah, this is my dad's doing artwork. It's my dad. This is beside the musician. So he's also, he's focus on art paintings. Before he's really make a really big painting like this, like very serious painting, and he used to selling painting in Kuta, in Sanur or Denpasar in those days. So just try to survive as and with 9 kids. So it's very hard to maintain how to survive because we don't have any rice paddy or farmer. So my dad, just the only thing he do is just like selling paintings in Kuta. So he's working at night and then go to Kuta around, I would say like around 11 and coming back around 4 o'clock at noon. So at night he's painting. So he's really dedicate so much his time how to survive, how to take care of the family, because we don't, like I said, we don't have any rice paddy or farmers, so it's very hard to survive. So he's go to the Kuta and then make a painting at night and then selling in the morning. Of course, that's how the routine he did. So in that time the peddler, like selling painting to tourists. So he's the only one that I know. So he make his own painting and he sell it. Yeah, this is the early times. So if you can see, so I'm in right in the middle next to the lamp. So that's my dad with orange shirt. So yeah, like you can see, we work at night. So this one of Gambo performance that he did. So he's played the drum here. And the next one who's playing soling the kapasa is his brother-in-law, like Kakul older's kid. So he he married her, so it's kind of brother-in-law. He learned so much from from him, learning this gambuk and the music and all the gambuk uh, uh, music, the kanang, I mean drum, everything's from him. Like he's the mentor and also as teacher as well. Yeah, the same thing. This one taken by 1971. All the way in the left is Pekak Ruju and also the son from Pekak Kakul, the older brother from my mom. As you see here, it's in the picture taken 57. My dad with his dad, my grandfather's, I mean from my dad's side. So he's his only son. So he has a two sister and then him. So this one painting that is not the oldest painting. This one like really well known about his style and the way he make these paintings. You know, after the influence from being outside selling painting to the tourists in Kuta, and he still maintain how to make traditional paintings. Then he add some unique style in the paintings, especially like for example like add some tourists taking pictures, and that's the hardest style that he started first in Batuan. We thought um, avoid the technique, like traditional way, how to make a painting as Batuan style. So he's always add small image that's really, in that time, kind of like weird. And then some people said this is crazy. It's kind of like taboo thing because like in this specifically pictures like Gambu performance in the courtyard temple, and then suddenly they have some tourists taking pictures with the sword. It's just kind of like you see it's close up here, and it's kind of like it's become well known. It's about as my dad's style. Then from here, it's a lot of artists or a lot of painter here there in Batuan kind of like copy his styles and just kind of well known, and they become like sometimes more acceptable for tourists who came to Bali, you know, because suddenly, I mean, they have something traditional and also is modern life. So like people taking pictures and sometimes, and later on the painting some the tourists lying down in the beach with the big with what call it like the topless or something like that. It's kind of like he add a lot of elements in there in the modern for the modern life. So like my dad said, oh somebody said my painting is crazy, and then I think this is, and by saying that, but he's still doing this, like have some, that's her motive. He got more motivation, doing more like more creative, doing that kind element, more like modern and still traditional way. So probably we can add some next paintings. This is the studio. This is my painting in the background. So this is not my earliest painting. This assume this one's 2005. Yeah, 2005 up. This is the painting. Mostly this painting, I mean, three of this painting I made it here in US and I bring back to Bali. So whenever I bring back to Bali, I have to adjust the color, maybe the color too bright or too muddy or something like that. Always fix it whenever I go back to Bali. Yeah, this also is my dad paintings, kind of like one of the very famous paintings, like that people really impressed to see. It's about when what called the Holland touched Bali, 1906. So kind of like his imagination during that time. I didn't think they have airplanes, so he just had some airplanes there. Kind of like this is kind of interesting concept in his mind. Other, yeah, this my paintings that I made here. So kind of like jumping around back and forth. You know how to explain it because the painting itself. And this I really fascinated with clouds. You know, when after I moved here, or before I moved here, my painting already had some cloud elements, and uh, this painting is called Universe. So the only thing I would see this kind of like a modern, like a more like Western idea. If you can close up, they have some angels there, you know. So when we paintings like this in Bali, we don't have add some that element, you know, like angel, like more like Western, just more like complete Balinese style. So I'm gonna describe about my artwork more later on. So it's the next painting, please. Yeah, this, this is around 1998. I made these paintings here and just kind of like a little bit cross from traditional painting, but still the technique still there, like traditional way. So when I came here the first time, you know, like what I should paint. And so, uh, uh, you know, like confused, and then I don't know what to do with my on the subject matter, especially. So I just try to make like more a little bit what is more light, more like more acceptable, more universe, how people think about something, you know, like in this case, like call this painting Three Sister, basically this very straightforward title. So from that, I just try to make more uh, uh, intricate stuff, just like steel button stuff. So this is basically just I just create some new style in here. Yeah, this is the mass spirit. It's still like a, you know, I think you can skip this one. Yeah, it's again, it's my dad paintings. If you see this one, and then there's some tourists taking pictures. It's just like very subtle there, and then maybe in the all the way in the back they had some motor people ride motorbike. So next, and then this is the concept about my dad. Is like modern and traditional. You know, on the right side is more like traditional way of life. In the left side is more like modern. If you can see, it's more like tourism there. It's more like people selling stuff. You know, I think that reflect himself how to sell painting to tourists before the early years. So next paintings. Yeah, this is my paintings, and this is like life-size painting. And then it, I think took me a year. I didn't work that all the time, you know. It took me a year for this painting. And then this is the like more specifically is this is the but one style. And from the bottom to the top, a lot of details and also a lot of object around it. You know, just if you can zoom in every angle and every part, they have some things going on in this painting. So this lot of detail, and the process is, like I said, uh, took forever sometimes. Since this is a life size, it took me a year because I don't think I can walk straight to finish like this big paintings. So if you can zoom one, you can zoom is and here to like zoom from that painting. I believe if in the real painting for the zooming, I think it's about, I would say, 4 inch and 6 inch. But this painting is a 72, 55, something that kind of the paintings. Yeah. Next paintings. Yeah, this is the size of the paintings. Yeah, so and it's after stay here for quite a while. I think it's up to 2 years I've stayed here. So I came to United States I think 1996, late 1996. So after a couple of years, I had some like try to create some San Francisco scene, and that's the only thing that I doing as like totally way from the traditional style. I mean, some story. And I make this kind of paintings, the first one, 1998. So actually this painting just recently, so 2019, just like it's commissioned, these paintings. So I just finished this painting, this for commission, this paintings. Next. Yeah, this is one of the process painting that I make in Bali. This so far this is the biggest painting that I made in Bali. I mean in general. So just we can skip this one just to get some idea how big the paintings. Yeah, luckily we have big. Yeah, this already finished this painting, and this is about the Dewi Sri. Just to kind of like get some idea about how the process the paintings from previous one. You can see is like how big it is, and now this is already kind of like the finished product, the finished painting. This 9 feet tall paintings. This another one. This is about 3 feet high, and this, yeah, you can see it's like the background style, so much detail from the top, and it's every angle. Like if you zoom, so everything kind of like something's there. Yeah, you get next one. Yeah, this is like in some way for fun, and this paintings. I try to I learned this Batuan paintings is this, from the neighbor painters and from my dad as one of the mentors, the traditional way, and also I learned in a fine art school in high school. So I learned something about a portrait, how to make like modern like watercolors, oil painting, stuff like that. So I tried to combine it with a little bit more like portrait objects, the objects. So in this case, the painting, when my daughter turned 3 years old, I make the paintings. So this painting for her. So here the process about the paintings, before we start that, it's just process is using the pen and ink. And sometimes I use a pen that I bought from the art store. Sometimes I use bamboo to make the sketch, the lines. And then the next one, just shading with the ink. just completely shadow its object should be separate between one another. So that's why we can see the layers of object. So you can start it. In this case, I use bamboo pen, and I use a Chinese ink or Indian ink, sometimes people call. It's next. And then start with the setting. Setting is a challenge is for beginner and for to start this style, because too much to understanding about the setting, how thick you can play it, like how thick you want it, and how much blending you want to do it. So you have to separate one object to another object. So each object should be have some separations. And then this one is take more time for the next step. The next step, so that one's kind of like already completely black and white. If you see here the dimensions is already you can see which one in the back, which one in the front. Then later I just add the colors. Yeah, adding with colors and this specific style is not the color really transparency is not so thick. As you know, as I mentioned, it's a lot to you know. It's like my student who take a class or lesson from me, like I want bright. Bright doesn't mean you have to really put really thick color, just totally transparent, because the ink underneath can mix everything pop up. So yeah, so this is a already finished paintings, and then if the layers of the colors, and also not just one layer of color, I just add, for example, this iguana at least 4 or 5 times colors, and also the what you call it, the flowers maybe 4 times of colors. That's the process about the paintings. So it's next. Yeah, this is also the same to how to make a shadowing settings from if you see the tip of the brush, have the first step after you sketch. Yeah. Yeah, you can skip. This is how to control the brush, So with all my students, they ask me how to make that kind of shadow, and then just because it's different brush, different character of the brush, and how you can control them. You think until you get familiar with how the brush respond with the ink, how the brush respond with the water. Sometimes how much water you put on your brush and how much ink. So that's so many things you have to understanding so before you apply the technique, or the technique is setting like this. And just first, and then you have to understanding about, like I said, about the brush and also the weather. So sometimes the weather too dry, and then if after you put a stroke of ink and sudden too dry, and then you're gonna miss it, and then you can make some stain of ink instead just can say there and smear it. Can I, next one, please? Oh, that's the same, so we can skip this one.
So that's the end of the slides. I know you wanted to take people around on a tour. Do you want to do that?
Okay, so yeah, well, I'm doing that. So maybe I just describe some things about uh, my style. So it's a it's a lot of artists or my friends, seeing my dad paintings, oh, your paintings are different than your dad. It is true, because I don't want copy his style. It's I have to find on way how to create is my direction, how to create my own directions to to pursue this as an artist, like what people said. And it's I don't want to copy it. To copy a style is not that hard. Just put some tourists or put some modern things. So easy. But to me, I don't want to do that because to get that the point as an artist, and like my dad said, like people call me crazy. It is really hard to take that kind degree, hard to take that kind what call it people. It's just it's a lot of gut to get that point. So this my style is if you see it's my style is it's hard to describe it, and but still my earliest work is like purely like Bali, Batuan style, a lot of detail. And then later years, and I'm work more like the biggest size, um, and then also less detail, and but the less detail like what I did in the past, like take me years to for one painting. And then I'm gonna show one of my painting. Oh, sorry, what happened? So I want to show one of my painting in the bags. So here, for example, so so I try to combine this is three. This is Ramayana paintings combined is a three way how to uh, represent it as a Ramayana story. For example, is here the Sita's, and this Sita sacrifice with fire, and I create this more like a little bit more realistic. And then it says meantime the Rama is a lion and a puppet, and also in this one also the represent more like the performing arts in Bali, called Sandatari sometimes. So that's how I try to represent the Ramayana painting, because I get this idea since I moved here to the United States. Beside the painter, and also working in the with Shadow Light production, it's Shadow Puppet Company based in San Francisco. So I'm working there as a set design. Uh, in Hawaiian, special Hawaiian theater. So I was working set design. At that time, I was working as that project, the first project I did with the satellite was set design. And then from there, I become permanently as working with them, and sometimes doing a puppet too, and make a puppet. So this, if I can see this here, is maybe a bit clear. Yeah, like as this is more simplified style, and always the background is just black pen and ink, and then the shadow with the inks, even ink. This is still, if you close up, you can see a lot of detail. I don't know how much detail you can see from the phones, and like the jumping here, and the colors. I have it right now is a lot of bright color compared in the last the early piece, the early paintings. So that paintings actually is uh, what call it? Actually the paintings
I'm hoping that we're still good. And am I the one frozen or is it Made Moja?
It's Made Moja, unfortunately.
Oh.
I just texted him. Hopefully everything's okay over there.
It sounded like maybe his phone was saying something to him. Maybe
Let's
low
look at some
battery.
art. Well, we can look at more art while we wait for the technical problems to resolve. Any requests?
Yeah, I want to see that one because he said to skip it.
Oh, which one? Oh, you want to see the video, the last video?
Yeah. No, it was we saw that one, the one with the shading, the details of the shading. Yeah, that one. Or the next one after that, I think it was.
This
Yeah.
one. He makes it look so easy. If anyone has a painting they wanted to look at for longer earlier, we can put that up. You can put that in the chat.
We
Carla,
got a request to look at his father's one that has the airplane.
oh yeah.
So I don't know if you want to open it up in some other programs, we could zoom in on it.
Yeah, I'll just open up the file. 1 second, I'm going to stop the share for a second.
Elmo just coming back.
Not the clearest image, but you can see the airplane there.
That's his father's painting, correct? Or
Yeah, this is his father's painting.
okay. So he says he's lost connection.
No.
I guess he's trying to get it back. But there was, some people chatting now about the classes. I know that he has taught classes that I didn't attend myself, but I know Katie attended and a few other people attended who did learned some great stuff with him. I know now he's doing Zoom classes, but he prefers to do them one-on-one. And if you're interested in that, we could pass your info on to him. And Samara, his daughter, just chatted saying that she's actually taking lessons from him. And even though she grew up with his art, she never dedicated herself to the process of learning it. And so I guess she's making progress. I think I'm going to try to call him and see if he's got any chance of coming back.
Aha! We have Pat Moja back again. Thank you so much for coming back. It's so good to see you again. We were running out of things to say. We don't have anything good to say as much as you do. All you again, Pat Moja. Can you hear us, Pat Moja?
So I know when he did this painting, he also made some really high quality prints of different sizes. Because I bought one and just they almost look like paintings themselves, just the print. And I think he's done that with several other of his paintings too. Just
Carla, were you able to get through on the phone?
oh, right when I was calling, I heard you say he was back, so I will try again.
Pat Moja, I can see your video, but I can't hear you.
Moja, can you hear me? Rebecca, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm working with Pat Moja on the sound issue. Still no sound. It should be in the bottom left in audio settings. It says, it will say, maybe you're on phone audio, and then it will say switch to computer audio. If you're on computer audio and you want to be on phone audio, click the switch to phone audio. Yeah, I'm really sorry, everybody. We're working on it. Still an audio issue. But I think, Carla, when we do get Pat Moja back, we can start the Q&A.
Okay, I wonder if it might be good for him to just close out and try the link again.
Yeah, that was my suggestion. I think he's trying.
Okay.
Well, we're still waiting on the sound issue. I think maybe, Pat Moja, you can try leaving and coming back. That might help. But Jillian Irwin, who is Sekar Jaya's brand new staff member, general manager, had an amazing idea, which is that we could maybe start watching the piece that Pat Moja was working on as production designer at University of Hawaii last year. Actually, this year.
That would, oh, you're not, I think the link she's talking about is creatures.
Oh, that's creatures. Oh.
And so that would be the second creatures, not the first one. So that link was to the first one, I believe. So if you go to Act 2, that would be the piece that he did with the Kumbhakarna.
Where would Act 2 be?
Well, if you were to look at GSJ's videos, you could search for that, or you could scroll down. It's there eventually. Act 1 doesn't have Moja in it at all.
Maybe Carla, there's a lot of questions coming in, and I know it's really unfortunate. I would rather Pat Moja actually speak for himself. But I know, Carla, you have worked with Pat Moja on some shadow light projects.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Pat Moja's back with
Oh,
audio.
yay. He muted himself. I think, Rebecca, you can unmute him.
Now here
Oh,
you
you
go.
can unmute. Okay.
Yeah. Whew. I tried to figure out one of the things that we didn't know how to figure out. So where are we? And
So we now have kind of we've had some questions in the chat. Carla, do you want to start managing the flow of questions?
Oh, sure. Sure. So the first question was really whether anyone here, even if you don't, has knowledge of the influence of Walter Spies and general style of Balinese painting. And Gregory Gent had responded to that, saying that Walter Spies did have a huge influence. And then before that, most paintings were Wayang style, Kamasan style, without perspective. So do you have anything to add on to that question, Moja?
oh yeah, actually the water space and all the Western artists who came to Bali starting from early 30s, uh, they give a lot of influence for artists in Ubud. So in Batuan, we don't have got that so much influence paintings from the Western's influence. So, like you said, the Kamasan, this is like a more specific in Klungkung regions. There's the paintings from they still they have their own style. So so the oldest paintings that are trying to figure out thing around 30s, that's 32, is basically the this remind me a lot with the Indian painting, you know, the painting from India. There's some example here, and then they create by one of the oldest painter here. If you can see it, if you can see the detail, it's from the book the Bali, the Ultimate Islands. This is the early style from Batuan. Yeah, like I said, Batuan they don't have so much influence from directly from Western painters. You know, like Walter Spies, Hans Snells, and some other artists who live in Bali in this time. So, is there
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, so then there's another question. Do you dance? Do you play gamelan, or do you teach dance and teach gamelan?
I just dance. I would say just dance, you know. And it's so that's interesting. Since I moved here, and then I'm more like involved with dance. So that Sekar Jaya once the reason I dance more compared in Bali. When I was in Bali, spend my time in Bali, I dance not more than twice a year because I dance basically just for the temple ceremony. And then just sometimes if I'm lucky, sometimes just 1 year. So since I moved here, so I miss some things, the sound of music and also the performance. So I want to see more. The only thing I have to come to see is during the rehearsal. So I find this Sekar Jaya is not close, I mean, not far away from Sacramento. I mean, San Francisco. So in that time, so I just come and see people practice. It's really impressive, you know, to see this Sekar Jaya, how they can maintain this group. They bring a really, really great artists from Bali as a guest artist to teach music and also dance. So from it's like late 90s, kind of like I already involved with Sekar Jaya gradually and become members and then dance with Sekar Jaya. Yeah.
Okay. Would you, there's someone who would like you to talk about your work with Shadowlight and your work with Larry Reed.
Yeah, at the same time, I think I mentioned a bit earlier, I don't know if I lost that information. And yeah, during the time, so 98 or 97, and so being a traditional artist, and it's really very hard to find the path, how to expose my arts, how the audience hear, and also it's not just the audience, and I didn't feel too comfortable painting like Ramayana story, Mahabharata, really classical style, like a Batuan style that I had painted that time. So just happenings that time, Larry Reed had a production. It's about Balinese shadow puppet using giant screens, and so he's looking for a set design and for the production. So I don't remember who contacts me, and then he called me to come to to come to the projects, and then I become just a set design for that production and called Wayang Listrik Tita Amarta. That's if I'm not mistaken, that's the production that first I worked with him, and then I end up he's hired me to travel touring to across the state, across the country during the production. So after that production, the first production, and then Larry had so many productions happening, and then so he ended up hiring me, like doing some mostly set design, and then I end up create puppet. So the create puppet after that is it's been involved. I think my background like performer and also like dance, and then he asked me like, Moja, can you replace this what call it the dancer? I think it's remember is the not the dancer, the actors when we did the Coyote Journey, when we worked with Native American story called Coyote Journey. So so from there, this it's come up. I don't know come up from where, so I'm just acting, perform as a Coyote Journey, and then Larry like, I think you should do the Coyote Journey instead just doing the set design or just making puppet. So from there, I'm just acting more with Larry, and it's acting more than perform, and as a actor for the shadow light. Yes, if you if everyone need more information about shadow light, you can check it out maybe through the email. Maybe Carla gonna send more link about shadow light. What is the production all about? Just in the big pictures is about using a big screen like a movie and cinema screen and 35 feet and using a different source of light and electric. So that's what we call wayang listrik. So yeah, it's with Larry, it's been this long collaboration with him. Sometimes I do just for art director, or sometimes just the acting, and so some I do sometimes just building stuff. That's I've been doing with the shadow light.
Okay, well, I think we can open it up to everyone if you want to ask. We got like, I think 10 or 12 minutes for Q&A. Maybe we can start with Diane. Diane Brocken. I don't think I have permission to unmute you. So
Carla,
yes, I do.
yeah.
I now have
Yes, I couldn't unmute until you gave permission. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
I hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My question that I wrote, I was curious how long his dad took making the paintings that he showed us.
The biggest one, I think about the airplane, I think about 6 months. The 6 months, it's a huge paintings. And then I think I mentioned a bit earlier, he's working like, he's just like dedicated as a painter, you know, just working day and night basically. So he's just worked so hard for painting. So he can make a, you know, more productive than me, you know, in general, because, you know, the way he's painting, just like, is, you know, just his hand on zone. So this is that one for 6 months, the biggest one. Sometimes the small one could be take only a couple of days. I think depend also how much details. So.
Oh, cool. I don't see any hands, but I know I have questions. So one question I have is if you could tell like somebody who's not an artist, somebody like me, because you've talked a lot about Batuan style, and you even said that even as the paintings have more modern content, they're still sticking with the Batuan style of detail. But for me, I don't know if I know the difference. So if you could explain what we should look for to see what is Batuan style, what kind of detail do you mean? Is it the shading or is it the size?
It is really complex. I cannot give one answer. And then also there's so many elements and there's so many details. You have to look closely from Batuan style and different style. Some other style, they use blending the shadowing, or blending the ink, and they use what call it, bamboo. They punch the bamboo to make a brush. But in Batuan style, we use a brush, you know, like regular brush like this, using usually like 2 brushes, one from ink for ink, one for water. In the other style that I see, like in Ubud especially, they use bamboo to blend it in like almost like airbrush. It's really fine brushing. Just I don't think I can do that kind of style, you know. Just that's how the different style, and I think the figure in that, and when I grew up, since in Ubud they have a lot of influence from Western, and it's more the figure more like realistic a little bit compared to Batuan more stylized. Yeah. Am I give you answer your question?
Yeah, I think if we have time at the end, I might like to look at some, because I have a picture of one that you just described where it's like super smooth like that. I think I know what you mean. But the next hand up is Pat Lasmawan. Let me unmute you. We still can't hear you. I'm asking you to unmute.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swastiastu, Pak.
Swastiastu, Pak Moja, aduh lama tak ketemu. Bagus sekali presentasinya. I think I have like 3 questions. I think one question is almost similar to Ibu Carla. So, but I want to know a bit more. How is to make a big difference Batuan style than other style in Ubud, for example, like a Peliatan style? That's number 1. Number 2, if Pak Mojo making painting, can you make a painting the same thing like you make it twice, or if you sell one painting and you make the same another painting, do you able to make a same? And that's number 2. And number 3, and I'm sure you know Bapak Madewianto from Tabanan. So what do you think about his work on the painting? Terima kasih, thank you.
So yeah, so to give the more information about the style, I think so with the Carl, I think as described a little bit, the techniques and the blending about the using the inks and then using the water, how we blending it, still if you see it, how we blending the inks and then to fading out. That's the difference about the style, about the technique, how to blending. But if you look at from the distance, this all look like the same, like blending. But the technique itself had take it differently how to blending. Like I mentioned, is from Uber, for example, they use a brush. I mean a bamboo brush. They make a bamboo. They punch the bamboo really fine, and then the brush. The brush really fine, and then they use they blend it, getting like most fading out from the dark and really blending out.
Okay.
So the second question is about twice and repeat, and I don't think I can make it twice painting. I can make it twice its story, but I don't think I can make it two identical paintings. In Bataan, we have a style also like for the tourists, for the souvenir. So I never made it. There's a lot of people make it, that's it for money. So just for example, like Legong Dan, they just copy it and then just make it really quick. So they sell very cheap. You can find in arts market in Bali. That's a different way how to make a living. So honestly, I never done that kind, and I never make it twice repeatedly, like exactly the same composition. But the story can be repeat, you know. For example, if you see the painting in the back, I made the painting Ramayana, but totally different style. I mean, different figuration. So with Mediante, yeah, the first thing I think 92. I saw his art in Bali, one of in the exhibition, and it's a sin in that time. I just graduated from high school, School of Art, and I'm really want to know more what is modern arts in in general. So I can explore a lot, and then so when I see this art, you know, like so. At first, I'm not sure what it is, and then after I see a few times, you know, because I'm still learning the process, you know, and just look, it's the cube and also the shading, and he using dot. It's a very, very fine dot, and also the color, the blending look like shading. If you look from distance, like shading. So the style, I would say the cubist style, because there are a lot of cube around, and then also the blending, and it's like mixed with Balinese styles. In some way, the way I visualize, immediately like, oh, Balinese, but it's more like modern. Yeah, am I unsure the question? Your question, but.
I think he's muted again.
Okay.
I think you answered it pretty well. If not, he can circle back around. Aileen Haggett had her hand up. So I will click allow to talk.
Hello.
Hi, Aileen.
Hi there. My question is, how in your art are you, or how are you impacted when you're painting about the current, environment or the current situation? Is that an influence as you paint?
Emotionally, influenced me a lot because the feel like you're trapped. Even I'm working with this, like you can say like 24 hours at home inside the room, but as there's the current pandemic, it's just feel like you're trapped. Even like I said, when you just work here, you feel like we're trapped. So about the subject matter, I didn't see it. I feel trapped. I feel a bit. I think in a positive way, the way I'm thinking. I'm not the just put my anger to this current happen like this. Okay, I'm not go with the flow, but I try to uh, uh, take in different directions. It mean like how to make a calm in this kind of situations. So yeah, this it affect me, but in different way. In sometimes people more emotional, and sometimes more like freaking out with about what's happening, and then affect about the art. But to me, I did the effect my art is try to work in different directions. Is try how to make a smoother, a calmer, and then how to make more closer to the natures. So.
Yeah, cool. I can see that. Thank you.
Okay, so we've got 2 more questions and we probably ought to wrap up. So Monali and then Putu Hiramiena. Monali, I will allow.
Oops. All right, am I unmuted now? Yeah. Thank you, Pat Moja. That was a really beautiful presentation, and living in Batuan right now, it's wonderful to see the connections and continuity and know some of the people who you were talking about. So I was wondering how in painting, how much of it for you do you work by mood and inspiration, and how much is it like routine, working with sort of discipline and yeah, so how does that work? Inspiration, mood versus routine, and just doing it.
Yeah, if you become routines, if you think become routine, you can get bored immediately, and how to keep that balance is not to be routine. Okay, I have to work, I have to finish this piece, and I have to create new thing, and then you become bored. I don't think it's work with me, working that way, working in the pressure that way, just to get mostly like the mood, and how to prepare that mood is more important. For example, I have to finish this piece, and how to create, without any anxiety, without any pressure. So I have to finish this piece by next week, for example, and I have to create my own way and how to create the mood. So that's how to in general to make paintings. Sometimes, for example, if I see the painting already finished, and so I'm not continuing because I want to see the process a bit slower. Even so, I feel under pressure. I have to finish by tomorrow, and then I say I don't want to finish it because I want to see more the process. Even though I know it's what's going to happen, just I want to take my time to enjoy the process. Yeah, sometimes it's for example, like if the painting like commission, for example, and after the painting almost done, I just staring all the time, because I don't want to finish it. If I finish it, that's already belong to somebody, so I have to wait the process. I like the process about my paintings. It's kind of like meditate sometimes. Yeah. Am I answering your question?
Yes, thank you. That was really informative.
Well, senior in Batuan, senior in Batuan, you can check more in my gallery in Batuan.
Yeah, I have been there before. I
Okay.
just saw your Patika. He came by yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Your
Good.
brother.
My brother.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So Putu's bike may or may not be working, but he's wondering if you could talk about the similarity and differences, in your opinion, in the social life of your paintings, that's between Bali and California, and maybe he can ask that differently if he wants. I've unmuted.
Okay.
And then somebody else had their hand up, but maybe it would be, oh, she says all her questions were answered. So, okay, so then that's the last question. Go for it.
So from which one, Pak Putu?
Pak Putu.
Can you repeat the question?
It says, Suksma Pap de Moja, very mesmerizing. Can you talk about the similarity, difference, menurut Bapak, in the social life of your paintings between Bali and California? Sorry, my mic is busted.
Okay, so it's just being an artist or being a painter as being it's not just a painter and also a musician at things in general, like called seniman, so artist. And also the context is different between here in Bali. So in Bali, if let's say as painters, so you always involved with communities. And for example, if you not do your own art, sometimes you involve with the community. For example, like doing some ceremony like cremation, for example. So we make some sarcophagus, you know, like to carry the body to the cemeteries. So always some decorative there. And all the artists involved and contribute something. Even though you're not artists, kind of like helping in terms of the in terms of the social life and the communities. That's just how involved with the arts over there in Bali. Maybe Bapak knows about the stuff like dancing, something like that, or musician they call ngaya, perform in the temples. It's not just perform just for the audience. So we just prepare for the temple, and it's like communal art form in Bali. And so it's affect a lot because like in Bali it's so decorative. It's almost every corner of your eyes they have some element and about the art. For example, like a offering, like small offering, they have so much detail and so decorative, you know, and it's so many element, like every building they have some ornament. So in here, the comparison is they had some because it's the social life and the influence a lot from other cultures here, from people here from all over the world, in California especially, and then like how you manage and how much in what call it influence from other artists. And this is a lot in for yourself. You have to a lot. You can take it, and then to express it's like in Bali. It's not the way we living there here. You know, like to going to communal to community center or something and doing some art like this. It's totally different. It's different way of we create the arts. You know, like in here, just I can observe more. You know how big and how the how it's kind of like a universe, you know, of art, you know. So it's not you kind of like in the center become in the centers. Like in Bali, you can bring yourself out more. And Suksuma talar Pak Putu. So Any other, maybe the last question before we wrap up, like you said, Carla?
I think that, oh, we do have more
Oh,
hands.
Pat
They have some.
Adesuteja is here. And also, oh, wow. Okay. And Pat YM Budiarsa.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing you said it was your grandfather's other grandchildren, but these are your cousins.
Yeah, it's my cousin. This is my cousin.
Both two of the three cousins that were here as our guest artists just joined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a Budi Arso. So I think 2005, the first time he came here. Yeah.
That's silakan, Pat.
So, what the questions? Apakah orang?
What is it? Mo? Mos?
Badingan eh?
Ba?
Ba.
Lambat mulai. Oh ya. Ya, sukses for the acara ini karena menarik bagi saya untuk mengikuti acara ini yang dilaksanakan oleh grup Sekar Jaya. Ya, jadi mengingat tahun 2005 di mana Om Swastiastu ya. Ya, di pandemi sekarang ini memang terdampak sekali terhadap para seniman, khususnya di Bali, di mana acara-acara berkesenian itu tidak bisa dilaksanakan karena harus mengikuti protokol kesehatan yang harus diikuti. Nah, jadi ya, baru kalau saya sendiri baru menari semenjak 6 bulan kira-kira berhenti. Kemarin itu dalam acara upacara Piodalan di Pura Desa Batuan 22 Agustus 2020 itu. Dan selamat untuk my brother Made Moja. Salam dari Bali, dari keluarga di Bali. Ya, itu.
So as you know, so Budi Arso, so he's my cousin. So he's younger than me, but in some way he's my teacher as well. So when he came here, so I learned so much from him when he's as a guest artist. Then whenever I go back to Bali, it's actually I will learn a lot from his dad, my uncle, so Pak Buko. So next one, another cousin.
That's all we have, unless your other cousin wants to talk.
Oh no, I thought they chat.
Yeah, I thought he wanted to. He's still muted.
Mm-hmm. But he.
Om Swastiastu.
Nah.
Om Swastiastu.
Swastiastu Muali deh.
Ye, rayu.
I think we lost him.
Or maybe he didn't have a question.
Oh yeah, just say like congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Suksma Pat Made.
Well, Rebecca, I think that's it for our questions.
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, it turns out Pat Made Chat's laptop is messed up.
Yeah.
Terima kasih, Suksma. It's so good to have everyone again for Bali's Living Arts, and especially thank you so much to Pat Made Moja for presenting this evening. And yeah, it was really, really incredible.
Yeah, thank you so much for the members Sekar Jaya and the staff. Like I mentioned earlier, thank you so much to put this panel to really, really nicely. And then it's more important to all the artists, living artists in Bali, especially in Batuan. I really appreciate it. So I've been learning from all the artists who's living before me, and that they create new generation. So I really fortunately had chance to learn this art form. So visual art, Balinese style painting, also dance. So thank you so much for seniman Ring Batuan.
Thank you so much. And I hope to see a lot of you next week too. Next week, our guests are Amico Susilo, who's currently board chair of Sekar Jaya and associate director of Gamelan Sudamani, and her daughter, Dewa Ayu Larasanti. Really excited to hear what they have to say. And then the week after that, we have Pat Wenten from Los Angeles. Really, really excited and hope to see all of you there. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Stay safe.